It's the 9th successive Serie A title for Juventus after the Old Ladies defeated Sampdoria in Turin on Sunday. Welcome to another edition of Sport the Money. I'm Bimbola Wiyale. So Juventus are the only team now to win 9 consecutive titles in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. The total earnings for this season by Juventus is yet to be determined, but surely the club's revenue from winning the league and from gate takings has been impacted by the coronavirus pandemic. Last year during the 2018-2019 season, Juventus earned €100 million from TV rights, including overseas, historic results, and equal share. The Italian champions are one of 3 European teams to be on a run of 9 titles in a row, alongside Celtic in Scotland and Ludogorets Razgrad in Bulgaria. Now joining us for more analysis on the show today is Azu Prince Onicha. He's a sport journalist and an OAP. Welcome, Azu.
Good to hear from you.
Is the Italian Serie A becoming a one-team league?
That's what it's looking like already. But with what we saw this season, it looks like something might change next season. Inter Milan are picking up for the first time in a very long time, but you don't expect them to give that challenge almost immediately. They tried, now they are second. Atalanta, a new team, also doing really well. But like I said, there's something called subscription in football, by just my own definition. There are some teams that have subscribed for this stuff. Look at AC Milan doing some wonderful stuff in the giant embers of the season without having top players sign, maybe just Zlatan Ibrahimovic. It's a mindset thing, and that's what has played the role for Juventus. They went down to the Calciopoli, scandal, came back, and did immensely well from then on. At that time, it was Inter Milan at some point winning the league. Inter Milan also dominated for a couple of seasons before Juventus came back, and it's Juventus' time. Now, the whole crisis of funds in Italian Serie A led to them becoming this thing. So if you ask me if it's looking one-sided, yes, and this is because there has been no funds equally for every team playing. Look at the quality of players Juventus has. They are still even buying more. They are not even preparing for the league because they won the league without Ronaldo, without Cristiano Ronaldo, without many of the players that are playing right now, the likes of Rabiot. And even they are winning the league with a coach who has never won the league title, Mario Sarri. That's how good they are in Italian Serie A. But in the Champions League, that's what they are building for. They lost to Ajax last season. This season, they are playing against Lyon, and it's still a draw in the first leg. So I think every other team has to come up, and it's just due to the crisis in Italy generally, as far as the football funding is concerned. But Juventus have just stood out because they've got something working for them as far as their board and provision is concerned. So I would say it's a one-sided league for now.
So you mentioned them winning the league without Cristiano Ronaldo. He has now won the league at every club he has played except at Sporting, where he joined Manchester United. Where does this, in your opinion, put Ronaldo among the greats?
Ronaldo is a phenomenal player. 31 goals already this season, just behind the man who he can also meet up with, thanks to maybe they scoring a hat-trick in the weekend in that 500 over their opponent in Barcelona. That's the quality Ronaldo has got. Challenging anybody who is, by the way, outscoring everybody. Most likely the next is Pele, the greatest of all time as far as goals is concerned. Ronaldo is in a class of his own. The only man rivaling him currently is Messi. Now we had the Del Piero, the golden boy of Juventus. We had Zlatan Ibrahimovic also played for this same Juventus. We had the Luca Toni. These are goal machines I've just mentioned who played for this club side, and none of them could get to this point. And for Ronaldo, he went all the way to do it. He just broke a record of the only man who has done it for Juventus with 2 games even to go. That's how beautiful Ronaldo is. I'm trying to just pick the name of Felix Borrell. That's the man who scored 31 goals. That's the highest you've seen from a Juventus player in the 1934 season. Obviously, most people living right now didn't see that man play football. We would have seen pictures of him in the days he was playing. But currently, Ronaldo is just that man who came in just in the second season and is doing wonders with the club side.
So let's go to the EPL also, which ended yesterday. First and second were already settled. So it was a battle for third and fourth, and also, who will join Norwich, in the relegation zone. But, let's look at what Manchester United did to qualify, and the man who was steering the ship, Ole Gunnar Solksjaer. How would you rate his performance this term, qualifying Manchester United for the Champions League in his first full season, in charge of the Red Devils?
I'll give him 10 over 10. People wonder why I'm doing this, but I remember having some soft spot for him because of what I saw he was trying to bring into the team when the season started. This is the closest man to Alex Ferguson, not because of what he has done, but because of the way he's been able to handle the team. Being boy, you agree with me that they didn't do too much by. He had to work with players he had to work with. At a point in time, Paul Pogba was on the bench, came back from injury and still wasn't starting. And this was because he needed to instill some discipline. Before we knew it, the young man who scored some funny penalties, Bruno Fernandes, came in, and that was a twist in turn for Manchester United. He was working his way through with the likes of Daniel James, brought up the likes of Greenwood, worked with Rashford, and switched Martial's position. Those are key roles he has played for the team that shows that he's actually the main man in that particular team. Look at the goalkeeping department. David De Gea wasn't at his best all through the season. This is enough to take them out of the Champions League position. But they kept their calm, and you could see that there was something called collectivity in that Manchester United team. You have anybody playing for the team, and you see the best of them coming out, and that's what they had going. It wasn't like they spent too much money. Maybe they did that in the past, but you must give it to Solskjaer. Ole had done a wonderful job. I am so impressed. I told Manchester United fans when this was all happening, not like I'm one, but there's something I just saw in him because I was not coming from the side of emotion. I was coming without any sentiment, and I saw that this man is still given the chance to take the team all the way. The only place I will also say he messed up was just that game in the FA Cup, where I expected him to play his first lineup, but he knew this was more important, and he got it, and that's just what it takes to become a great manager. They went through injuries at some point in time. Rashford was out for a long time, but they kept their calm, they kept their cool. They were focused on what they wanted to have. This is more like winning the Premier League for Manchester United. It's been a long time coming.
And, you might even want to add that at some point they lost Romelu Lukaku. Well, they actually sold Romelu Lukaku, who went on, and was doing fantastically well at Inter Milan, and then people started criticizing him. Saying,
why should you let such a player go?
Yeah. In the same manner, Chelsea lost or sold Eden Hazard. Did not have an opportunity to buy players, came in with an equally fresh manager, and they also finished in the top 4. I think people are not giving Frank Lampard, some of the accolades he deserves. Do you agree?
He deserves more than what he's even getting, or more than what anybody can give him. But the pressure to finish in the top 4, where you have a Tottenham Hotspur who have been doing wonderfully well. You have a Leicester who were challenging Liverpool at some point in time for the title. You have a Wolves who's also doing really well. Even the Norwich that went on relegation beat Manchester City at some point in the season. That's how good Chelsea are. They drew points from almost everybody on the top 4. The managerial role is evolving, and some old coaches have to understand what it takes to have those guys get the best out of themselves. He knew when Tammy Abraham wasn't the best of players and went to switch to Olivier Giroud. That's what it takes to be a manager. He knew when to drop Kepa Arrizabalaga when he was needed to bring in a really Caballero. Great coaching stuff. Rudiger at some point in time was a mess of the season. But look at what this man has done, bringing in players. And one thing that helped him, I'm sure, is he didn't bring in sentiment to the team. He didn't look at it like, I think this guy is my untouchable. Everybody went round. Kante, the biggest player for Chelsea at some point in time, didn't play too many games this season. Injuries ravaging from left, right, and centre. Brought out the best out of Arteta after a long time again. We need to Arteta do some of his assists for some time. But Lampard came in. They lost Hazard. That's the man who is one of the most expensive players currently in football history. At the time, they could not sign players. Give it to Lampard any day, any time. This English manager, for the first time coaching in the top flight, aside coaching in Derby County, Lampard, I just knew was going to do wonders for the club because he understands everything. Giroud didn't do so well in a long time at Arsenal. But see what he has done. Continuity from when Ansari left when he scored in the Europa League final or helped them to the Europa League title and coming on to do great stuff in the Premier League. Lampard has got a lot to offer as far as football is concerned. All he just needs to do is keep his head calm, buy the necessary players. Don't just buy big names because he wants to make big names. Timo Werner has also already joined the side. They might contest for the Premier League next season with the quality they have got in that attack. And maybe just 2 defenders to also fill it up. Chelsea are that thing they're looking out for.
All right, still sticking with Chelsea, there was a certain Brazilian, Willian, who did not play a part in Chelsea's final game on Sunday. Some reports said he was injured. Personally, I'm not so convinced because on Thursday there was a report that said the 31-year-old might be moving to Arsenal on a free transfer. First of all, there's a two-part question. First of all, do you agree, with that rumor that it might be? Do you think it's just a rumor, or is it clickbait that is moving to Arsenal on a free transfer? And even if so, if it were so, is he what Arsenal needs for next season at 31 years old?
No, I'm not even looking at the age. I mentioned Ronaldo earlier, 35, still doing wonderfully well, while some 28, 27-year-olds are not at their best. I remember a certain Bojan Petric, very young man playing for Barcelona. Looked like the brightest thing to happen to football after Lionel Messi. But how did he go down? Played for the likes of Stoke City. Even less than 30, the 30-year-olds were doing better than him. So, I don't want us to look at the age. Now, let's start with the rumors. Willian moving to Arsenal. I didn't see that coming. I was surprised even when Barcelona were looking to get that young man from Chelsea. I'm not a fan of Willian. Fine player, but not my kind of football. Now moving to Arsenal, I don't think that's what Arsenal needs at this point in time. And I think Arsenal are not taking their time to get the player. But we can only say words and they move in there to do what they have to do. Saying whether it's far-fetched, I think it is far-fetched. I didn't see Arsenal in the picture, but Arsenal can always get players. And Chelsea and Arsenal have this link of sharing players once in a while. I won't be surprised if this goes on to happen. I don't think that's the solution to Arsenal's problem. Maybe he's going to add more. Maybe he's going to help them out of the situation. I hope he doesn't end up like David Luiz.
All right, I will be remiss if I didn't ask about La Liga, especially Barcelona. Congratulations to Real Madrid for winning the title. But what do you think happened at Nou Camp, leading to Barcelona's inability to hold on to the title?
I'm going to speak to about and make you laugh again. Information on the Well, on a more serious note, Barcelona, fantastic side. These things happen to them a couple of times, and the way they handle it most times has been wonderful. But it doesn't look like they're handling it well already this season. I think the biggest problem is from the board. The board has that issue, but I don't know. At the point I was seeing on Twitter, Messi trending for being the cause of Barcelona's problem, like really, all of a sudden, this is how you guys turn heroes to villains. And I just think people were just wanting to talk because they chose to. Messi cannot be the problem with Barcelona. He wants to win stuff. He understands this club side. Barcelona doesn't even understand Barcelona as much as Messi does.
There are signings Barcelona wants to do, and this is not going to work. When I knew the likes of Arthur wanted to come to Barcelona, I knew, yes, this is the kind of player that should play for Barcelona, Arthur Melo. But now he's the first player to leave for Juventus already. Big problem. Antoine Griezmann, wonderful player for Atletico Madrid, but can he fit into Barcelona's style of play? For me, the answer is no. I thought Coutinho was going to do well. I thought he was going to do well for Barcelona. But I think Barcelona have just been signing players because they want to rival the names and not because they will suit in the kind of play. Someone will come and tell me now Arturo Vidal has done well for Barcelona. But Bimborada, if you check it really well, you will know that's not the kind of player Barcelona need in their team. You can be effective in a team, but you're not helping the kind of pattern. Now, let's look at what we used to have under Pep Guardiola when they won the Champions League, and also under Luis Enrique late on. You have a Xavi, Busquets, and Iniesta in the midfield. Please, how does Vidal relate to any of these three players? Far from it, right? That's the way I look at football. Not because it's not just about getting results. It's about what can be continuity. What are these guys known for? You want to succeed at a club, you must look out for what this club is known for. Barcelona never used to buy 6-7 players in a season or in 2 seasons. Now we're hearing that they are going bankrupt, or they might be facing financial fair play. This was never Barcelona's turn. Take your mind back to when Barcelona became the greats that they are, the success they've enjoyed from Frank Rijkaard in recent years, and see what happened. They got a Deco, who the likes of Xavi were playing from behind for. They got a Deco, and they got maybe 1 or 2 other players to meet up with the team. And the tiki-taka thing started again. They played some good football, didn't have the best of defenses, and they knew where to strengthen. And before you knew it, Guardiola came in and refined football totally. So if you're going to move on in that direction and you want to get that same success, you need to get the right players. But Bartomeu is just doing one thing. The B team at a point, Bola, Bimborada, I keep mentioning Bola. The B team at the point won the, what's it called? The La Liga B title. If they were to be a normal team, if it was allowed, they would have been promoted to the La Liga. That's how good the B team was. They won the title during the days of Guardiola. I'm trying to remember who the coach of the B team was. They won the title in La Liga B. That's how good they were. Now they have gone 2 times relegation. I think they will just get promoted this season if possible. And these are the guys that were supplying the main team players. So what they were just doing is do a mixture of new boys with the old ones, and get me 1 or 2 players. Like they got David Villa at some point in time, got Zlatan Ibrahimovic at some point in time. Zlatan Ibrahimovic that were insulting back then, that didn't do well Barcelona, got about 16 goals for the club side. And you can't compare it to any of these new signings that have been bought in the last 3-4 years. So I think the board is a problem. They've chosen not to help Messi get the best out of him. But the young man has just stood out. Okay, I say Messi is a problem. He's scoring and also giving assists in double figures. He's the highest assists currently. Maybe in Europe, in the top 5 leagues in Europe. Maybe if anybody goes past him, maybe De Bruyne who had 20 as at yesterday. But I think Messi has done more than 20 assists this season. That's how good that young man is. So how is it the problem with Barcelona, please? Some say he doesn't like Griezmann. Some say he doesn't give the ball to Griezmann. Is it the coach? We didn't see Griezmann in a good position. We've seen how Griezmann was a waka man at some point in time on the pitch. Who they had to talk into helping the team play football. Griezmann was taking the ball and passing just as quickly as possible, like just a regular central defender. Even the Piqué or Umtiti or even a Lenglet had more touches on the pitch than Griezmann. So how do you say Messi is the problem? The man who is giving his all, helping the team to get better as much as they can. They should have won this title. But look at what has happened. You get somebody who you know might not be needed just because you want to buy players. Barcelona did a lot of panic buying, and that's cost them a lot. I hope they get it right as quickly as possible. But like I said, based on antecedents, they once or twice they've gone down like this under Rijkaard, and also after the Guardiola era, they've picked up from there and become one of the best teams in the world, going on to win the Uefa Champions League. They just have to go back to the drawing board and understand that it's not about buying players that Barcelona is known for. The B team has always fed the main team. We just want 2 new signings to just add up from experience, and they are good to go.
All right. Thank you very much, Azu.
No problem. I'm always available.
And with that, we've come to the end of another edition of Spot the Money. The conversation continues on Twitter at AfricaBizRadio, #Spot the Money. You can also hit me up personally on any of all my social media handles at Bimbola Awoyele. Until our next episode, have a great week.